man, I set myself a goal this week, getting into the studio every day to do work and to skate the 11 miles from the Upper West Side down to East Williamsburg every day, just to start and end the day. Today, I got caught out in the rain, and the last time I tried to skate over the Williamsburg Bridge in the rain, it was so slick that my skates were just slipping out every step. So I was a little bit nervous. I almost hopped on the subway today, but I was like, you know what, fuck it. If you're gonna set goals, you gotta at least try to see them through. So here I am on the Williamsburg Bridge, and I just made it halfway up, and I feel like I made a breakthrough as a result, because when you kind of just change your mindset and say, you know what, I have to do it, there's no choice, you kind of just buckle in, grit your teeth, and find a way. And for the first time skating up this bridge, I actually felt like it's totally doable. So I'm about halfway up. Why don't we take a skate over the other half and see how the rest of it looks. I think this part of the pavement might be a little bit better, so let's see how this flows. Day. A little bit of wet pavement can't stop us. Old school world opens. But don't let obstacles get in the way. Nice thing about downhill, we're normally slow right now compared to our normal speed down this way. But the nice thing about downhill is that even with wet pavement, as long as you cut the turn, you don't have to worry about sliding too much. You don't really need to grip to go straight. You just need grip to push uphill and to turn. But as long as we go nice and slow down this downhill, it seems to be totally okay. The pavement here is much better. I can actually grip on this pavement. There you have it. Did the Williamsburg Bridge in the rain on my old hockey skates with regular wheels, not rain wheels. So I think when my new skates get here in the mail on Friday and my new rain wheels, I think we're gonna be able to do this skate every day, no problem. And that's pretty sick. So finding little ways to inspire yourself in the middle of an economic shutdown, when sometimes it feels like there's no point to get up and get work done. Finding those little breaths of inspiration, that's the key. Here we are in Williamsburg, under the bridge. One of my favorite sections of skating right here. I call this the Grand Street Run, because from here to the studio we have a straight shot the whole way. Beautiful bike trail, beautiful bike lane. And we can bomb the hell out of it. Full speed ahead. No turns, baby. Usually I try to find a biker and some pass it just for fun. Although, with this wet pavement, I might have to take it a little bit more slowly today. Woo. The home stretch, favorite leg of the whole trip. Coming downhill, nice slight, gradual downhill, and you can see the tower on my building. That right there, that spire, that old factory. Make sure we're not running into any traffic in this red light. There's that spire right there. That's where all the magic happens, baby. All right, so here we are in the studio, day 3, back to work. Let's jump into it. All right, so the first thing I like to do every day is just kind of sit down, open up Serenity, and kind of take a look at where things stand, what I'm working on, what I'm in the middle of, what kind of things I need to be getting done, either today or over the next few days. And that was the whole purpose of kind of implementing this new goals section on the site so that I can immediately jump in and see what are my goals for this week, what's the current status of my progress on each of those. So obviously our goals section right here is not quite fully implemented yet. We have the ability to add goals, and we have the ability to check those goals off to either make them completed or failed or inactive again, or active again, I should say. But obviously the date here is just the current date. It doesn't allow you to switch back and forth between older dates. And it doesn't allow you to have goals that are daily goals, weekly goals, or monthly goals. So that is definitely something that we're going to have to implement over the next few days. We have that here in our to-do list, implement time frame for goals. We also have a to-do, fix finished to-dos not showing up in journal. That's an issue that I'm not so worried about right now. We're gonna archive that. So generally, in terms of Serenity, the things that we need to work on is getting this goals section implemented. So we have a goal here: make goals have time frames. But before we jump into actually coding, I want to really get an overview in my head and really write things down and have more intention in the way that we go through every bit of work that we do. So we don't have an ability to edit goals here. That's something that we need to add as well. So add edit goal link. Because we want to be able to rename this and just say, instead of the goal being make goals have time frames, I think the goal should just be get goals fully implemented, and then we can break that down with smaller to-dos. The more I think about the goals and the to-dos, I've been really kind of trying to rack my brain to understand what is the difference between goals and to-dos, and kind of, I don't know how to describe it. Like, I understand in the back of my head what I'm trying to get at, but I don't really have a good explanation for it yet in terms of how I would try to explain this to a user. And I was hoping that in implementing it and in using the two different features, I'd get a better feel for how I really want people to understand them. Because it's interesting going from something that you kind of understand at the back of your head and you want to implement and kind of feel it out and use it, and then hopefully through using it get a better understanding of exactly what the differences are between the two and how they work together. So I think long term, really what I'd like to do is make the goals be the primary thing. You set your goals for the day, you set your goals for the week, and then the to-dos should probably fit underneath individual goals. So rather than to-dos being a separate section, to-dos is part of goals, and I can break down each individual goal into smaller to-dos. And then goals belong to projects, so I can have separate goals for separate projects, and I can have separate to-dos for each separate goal. So it's kind of like a hierarchy. Of projects is the overarching organization of things, and then goals are the things that I'm making progress on for each progress, and then to-dos are the specific itemized actionable items that I can just go through step by step to make progress on those goals. So I think that's kind of the long-term frame of where I'd like to get to with this. So we're not going to jump into that right away, obviously. The first step is just to get goals functional. So make the goals have time frames, and make sure you're able to edit the goals and basically make it fully usable so that I can really, on a daily basis, be using these and starting to be able to review my progress on goals from previous days and previous weeks. So that's going to be our priority for today. In reviewing my videos from the past 2 days. So the first day, I basically just did a live stream, a stream of consciousness coding session. I shot for 2 hours. I managed to edit that down to about an hour and 30, hour and 40 minutes. And in editing it, it became pretty clear to me that obviously this is just too long and drawn out and not all that interesting for somebody to watch. So I think I'm going to try to avoid doing that kind of just like watch me work for endless amounts of time, and try to really cut down these videos into actionable items of this is how I go through and break down my day and try to make progress on things day by day by day, just in a slow and steady pace, just so I can review it for myself. I try to think of these videos as being time capsules for my future self, to be able to look back on what my process was from going where I'm at right now to going to where I know I need to be in a year or 2 or 3 years. And I think that just by doing it and explaining it and trying to show it in a capacity that other people can understand, I think that I get a better understanding for how I'm working through these challenges, and I think that it gives me a better understanding overall of how I'm improving my process and workflow. So anyway, let's jump into it for today. I think for today, because we already started with the skating video at the beginning of it, we got a late jump to the day. It's already almost 2:30. I had to run some errands in the morning and then the skate in. You know what? I never stopped. That's such a bummer. I was timing my skate today, and I stopped it when I started filming on the Williamsburg Bridge, and I totally forgot to restart it. So we're just gonna have to finish that. 51 minutes up to the Williamsburg Bridge. Normally about almost an hour the whole way. So this doesn't seem like it's that much slower, which is really interesting. I thought it was going to take me about an hour and a half to skate the whole thing, and it seems like it was less than that. So I don't have an exact time frame for that, but that was fun to see. I'm definitely really excited to get my new skates in the mail tomorrow night and hopefully try them out on Friday already, even though it's supposed to rain on Friday. Seems like rain is not going to be an obstacle anymore, so I'm really excited about that. But anyway, let's jump in for today. I think what I want to do, because we got a late start, I'm going to put this updating of goals on the back burner. We're going to maybe jump into that tomorrow, or maybe later this evening I'll make some progress on it and then I can kind of present it tomorrow. Because what I really want to do is try to get the video from yesterday published. We got to write that down. Publish Tuesday's video. And then we will say, I'm not making these goals right now just because goals isn't fully implemented, and I'm realizing that, I want goals to be kind of like more higher overarching concepts for each day, and to-dos are actionable items. So I'm just still working with to-dos because it's a fully fledged functioning part of the site. So we'll stick with that for now. We also need to edit and publish today's, let's say Wednesday's video. Another thing that I realized I need to do in editing this video yesterday, I've been using a white background just because it's easy. I turn on my lights. I've got a nice white wall behind me. But then when I go to chroma key, it's called, or ultra key, you key out the background in order to make myself small in the right corner of the screen when I'm kind of showing you my screen while I'm filming and showing you the work. And I noticed that because Premiere Pro is trying to get rid of all the white pixels in the background, if I smile, if I laugh, and my teeth end up getting chromed out as well, and it looks like I'm missing teeth or I have black teeth. So there's a reason that people use green screens. You don't use white, you don't use black, you don't use colors that are going to show up in your clothing, that kind of thing. And I don't actually have a green screen here, but what I do have is an orange backdrop. So I think I need to add that to my my list of things to do. Maybe that could be a fun project for today. Why don't we jump into that today? That'll be something that'll be quick and easy to do. We can throw an orange backdrop behind me, and then we can test the difference to see what that looks like when you start to key out that background. So let's see what that looks like. I'm curious to see, because orange might add like a weird orange glow to the outside of my hair, but hey, let's test it out and see what it looks like. I also have like a light lavender and a red. So I don't know which one would be best, but let's start with the orange. So let's add that to do. Set up orange backdrop for filming. Awesome. So our list of to-dos for today, we've got implement timeframes for goals. We're going to put that on the back burner just for now because we really want to try to just keep these videos concise, just do a little bit every day. So we'll make more progress on that tomorrow. We need to add and edit goal link. That should be a quick, easy add, but we'll probably, do that tomorrow as well. Publish Tuesday's video. That should be the first thing. Get that out there. Edit and publish Wednesday's video. That's a priority for today too. So that's why we want to keep the amount that we're filming today to, a small amount so that we're not staying up all night trying to edit it. And then set up the orange backdrop for filming. So it seems like that's the only thing that's really a priority before we jump into this edit. So why don't we check out that orange backdrop and see if we can get it hung up on the wall. I don't have any proper hanging materials, but I think we can find a way to jerry rig it with like picture hanging stuff. And let's see what we can find. Got some picture hanging hooks, some zip ties. I think we'll put these zip ties through the end. Make them not too tight. Now we have a nice little hook. can get the orange backdrop onto it. So part of the problem is that these zip ties are angled the wrong direction. We need them to actually be angled that way, but they're angled this way. So if I put a second zip tie, I think we can get the right angle on that. Voila. I think that should do the trick. What do we think? We have a nice solid orange tone right behind my head. So hopefully that should make it easier for Premiere to key out that specific color without keying out parts of my face or parts of my teeth. Let's test it out, see how it looks. And voila, we've got a beautiful orange backdrop. We don't have a perfect illumination on the sides. We really need strip lights for that. Unfortunately, I really only have one main LED light that has a Bowens mount that I can attach my strip modifiers to, so we're stuck dealing with these small LED panels, but I think it should get the job done. Let's throw it into Premiere Pro and see what it looks like when we try to key out that orange background. All right, so here we are in Premiere Pro. We have a nice orange background. You can see my crazy quarantine hair. I need a haircut. If we jump over to Effects and we type in Ultra Key, we can drag that onto our clip here. And then if we go into Effect Controls and we find that in the Effects section over here on the left, and we click once to select the eyedropper tool and then click and drag onto our backdrop, it's going to select one of these colors, this orange color, and it's going to start removing that from the background. And voila, that is hilarious. So there's a reason they don't use orange for green screens. Pretty obvious now that I think about it. Our skin tones tend to be in the orange spectrum, so obviously it's finding a lot of my skin tone to remove in addition to the orange background, so that is not going to work for us. We don't have a green screen, unfortunately. Maybe the furthest thing away from my skin tone that I have is either a red or a lavender, so why don't we try the lavender? Let's switch that out. All right, here we are with our nice lavender backdrop. Let's go into our effects over here and again, search for Ultra Key. Drop it on and go back to our effect controls. Scroll down here to Ultra Key and select the eyedropper tool. Click and drag onto our nice lavender backdrop. And okay, better. We're not affecting the skin, but we're not getting the whole backdrop. And part of the problem there is that the backdrop is not evenly lit. You can see these kind of bright spots that are too washed out. That's because the lights behind me, they're just not the ideal lights for lighting a backdrop. But let's see if we can make this work. Let's go down to aggressive on the setting, and that gets rid of almost all of the purple. I'm still getting a bit of a purple fringing on my shoulder. Not the end of the world. But these highlights are going to be a bit of a problem. So let me see if I can figure out how to get rid of those highlights. I think that throughout most of this clip, my hand never really goes into this highlight over here. So one way to get rid of that is I can just add an opacity mask to this, and we're just going to invert it as soon as we get the right shape for it. And just hit inverted, and boom, that's gone. So we're basically just masking out that part of the clip, which is going to be a problem if your hand kind of goes into that zone. It'll disappear, but for now, it's not that big a deal. And then when it comes to this one, you know, we're just gonna have to roll with that for now. I'm gonna have to figure out my lighting placement a little bit better. But if you take a look over here, is an example of what this looks like now, which you already saw me talking about trying to do the orange one, but I already had the lavender backdrop on here because I knew that wasn't going to work. So this is an example of what it ended up looking like. You can see me talking in the bottom right there. That's what the lavender backdrop keyed out. So yeah, I mean, I think this lavender backdrop is going to work. A big big challenge is going to be getting the lighting right. I'm going to have to move the lights around behind me so that they're not having these hot spots of white on the backdrop, which I think I've fixed a little bit now already. But there you have it. That's how you create a green screen or a purple screen. Don't do an orange screen. Learned that one the hard way. And definitely don't do white and black. So the reason I had white originally and I was losing my teeth, they were going black, and nobody likes to see black teeth. Yeah, so anyway, I think that's it for today. I'm going to be jumping into finishing up some more of the goals implementation on the Serenity app. But I'm pretty wiped for today. Might go for a little jog or a skate this evening, and then try to get back in here early tomorrow morning, get a good jump start on the day. So hope you're finding ways to stay productive and creative and inspired in quarantine, even if maybe productive is the least important of those three. Creative and inspired. That is the challenge every day when we don't have external forces bringing that creativity and that inspiration to us. We have to find ways to make it ourselves. So this is my attempt to figure out how to do that, and I'd love to hear what you're working on to be able to do the same thing. So drop me a comment, let me know what's going on, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.